volts per meter plane wave of frequency 300 megahertz is traveling through a lossy medium having epsilon r equal to 9, mu r equal to 1 and sigma equal to 10 Siemens per meter. Determine the power dissipated in the medium over a distance of 1 micrometer with a surface area of 2 meters square. Solution. First step is to calculate the intrinsic impedance of the medium. Keywords are lossy medium, plane wave. What is the expression for intrinsic impedance? Eta is equal to square root of j omega mu divided by sigma plus j omega epsilon. Square root of j omega mu divided by sigma plus j omega epsilon equals square root of j omega is 2 pi f into mu divided by sigma plus j 2 pi f into epsilon equals square root of j times 2 pi. What is the frequency? 300 megahertz means 3 into 10 to the power 8 hertz. Mu is mu naught into mu r. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Mu r is 1 divided by sigma. Sigma is 10 plus j times 2 pi f. F is 3 into 10 to the power 8. Epsilon is epsilon naught into epsilon r. Epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12. Epsilon r is 9. If you calculate this, the answer is 15.4 at an angle 44.59 degree ohms. This implies magnitude of the intrinsic impedance equals 15.4 ohms and angle of the intrinsic impedance is equal to 44.57 degrees. Please note, I use the formula square root of m at an angle theta is equal to root of m. Angle gets divided by 2. The quantity inside the square root should be brought to this form. That means the complex number inside the square root should be expressed in the polar form m at an angle theta. Square root of m is root m. Square root of theta is theta by 2. So the first step is to find the intrinsic impedance of the medium, that too lossy medium, using this expression. Next step is to calculate alpha and beta. So I'll just note down these answers here. Magnitude of eta is equal to 15.4 ohms. Angle of intrinsic impedance is equal to 44.57 degrees. Next I have to calculate alpha and beta. For that we have to calculate gamma. The propagation constant is equal to square root of j omega mu into sigma plus j omega epsilon equals square root of, what is omega? Omega is 2 pi f. What is mu? Mu naught into mu r. Sigma plus j times omega is 2 pi f. What is epsilon? Epsilon naught into epsilon r is equal to square root of j times 2 pi f is 3 into 10 to the power 8. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Mu r is 1 into, what is sigma? Sigma is 10 plus j times 2 pi f is 3 into 10 to the power 8. Epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12. Epsilon r is 9. So if you calculate this, you get 108.01 plus j times 108.01 meter inverse. Okay, this implies real part is alpha 108.01 Nepers per meter and beta is equal to 108.01 radians per meter. So you just note down alpha and beta values. Alpha is equal to 108.01 Nepers per meter. Beta is equal to 108.01 radians per meter. These are the values of alpha and beta. To be more accurate, if you want to be more accurate, this is 109.65. So beta is 109.65. Beta value, please check the calculations. Beta is equal to 109.65 radians per meter. Now let us understand the problem. Let me assume that the wave is propagating in the positive x direction. So let us, this is x axis, y axis, z axis. Let me take two planes. This plane is yz plane taken at x is equal to 0. The next plane, the same plane is now shifted to right by x equal to 1 micrometers. X is equal to 1 micrometers. So I have taken two planes. I have taken two planes. They are yz planes. This plane is taken at x equal to 0. This plane is taken at x equal to 1 micrometer. Area of these two planes is S is equal to 2 meters square. As the wave passes through these two planes, what power it loses? That means power dissipated we have to calculate. So power dissipated, please note, power dissipated is equal to average power at x is equal to 0 minus average power at x is equal to 1 micrometer equals, what is average power? Average power is average power density into S. Average power density unit is watts per meter square. Unit of S is meter square at x is equal to 0 minus average power density into S at x is equal to 1 micrometers. For a lossy medium, what is the expression for P average? We have derived this. Em plus whole square divided by 2 times magnitude of eta e to the power minus 2 alpha x into cos theta, whole thing multiplied by s evaluated at x equal to 0 minus Em plus whole square divided by 2 times magnitude of eta e to the power minus 2 alpha x cos theta into s evaluated at x is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 6 meters. Em plus is given the problem as 100 volts per meter. 100 whole square divided by 2 times magnitude of the impedance is 15.4, correct, into e to the power minus 2 alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is 108.01 into x. X is 0. Cos of 44.57 degrees into s. S is 2 meters square minus Em plus is 100 square divided by 2 times magnitude of the impedance is 15.4 e to the power minus 2. Alpha is 108.01 into x. X is 1 micrometers into cos of theta is 44.57 degrees into s. S is 2 meters square. So if you calculate this, you will get 462.59 watts. This is the power dissipated, 462.59 watts. So what I have calculated is, what is the power at average power at x equal to 0? What is the average power at x is equal to 1 micrometer? If you subtract these two average powers, what is the power lost by the wave as it travels a distance of 1 micrometer will be found, and that is found as 462.59 watts. Thank you. We shall go to next problem. Very frequently asked problem. Consider a circular wire having a conductivity sigma Siemens per meter, radius equal to A, and carrying a direct current of 1 amperes. Determine the net power entering the wire of length L by integrating the Poynting vector over the wire surface. So here the current is direct. Therefore, we have to use the instantaneous Poynting vector for solving the problem. Let me read out the problem once again. Consider a circular wire having a conductivity sigma Siemens per meter, radius equal to A meters, carrying a direct current of I amperes, A meters. Determine the net power entering the wire of length L meters by integrating the Poynting vector over the wire surface. Solution. Let the wire be kept on the z-axis. So I am going to draw the wire now. This is the z-axis. This is the wire. This is the wire. This is Z is equal to L. This is Z equal to 0. So the length of the wire is L meters. Okay, the length of the wire is L meters. L meters. The radius of the wire is A meters. If you take the surface of the current is flowing in the positive Z direction. Correct? The current is flowing in the positive direction. This is on the surface of the wire. This is the electric field intensity vector. This is the magnetic field intensity vector, and this is the Poynting vector. This is the front view. The top view, if you see, this is the top view. This is the wire cross section. Radius is A. Correct? Poynting vector is inwards at the surface of the wire. Right? Magnetic field intensity is tangential to the wire. Correct? And electric field intensity is coming out of the board. That means for a person standing on the top of the axis, vector is coming towards him. Therefore, I have shown vector E perpendicular to the plane of the board. This is vector H tangential to this contour. Vector P is directed inward. This is the top view. Step number 1, to find electric field intensity vector. To find vector E. Ohm's law in point form is vector J is equal to sigma into vector E. What is vector J? I divided by, what is the area of cross section of the wire? Pi A square. I divided by pi A square into AZ cap. Since current is flowing in the positive Z direction, correct? The unit vector associated with vector J is AZ cap is equal to sigma into vector E. This implies vector E is equal to I divided by pi A square into sigma into unit vector AZ cap. So pi A square I will denote it by capital letter S. I divided by S into sigma into AZ cap. I will write down the answer over here. Vector E is equal to I divided by I divided by pi a square into sigma into az cap. That is nothing but I divided by s into sigma into az cap. Unit of vector E is volts per meter. What is instantaneous Poynting vector? Instantaneous Poynting vector, vector P is equal to E cross H. And what is its unit? Watts per meter square. In the first step, I have found what is vector E. This is cross product. In the second step, I have to find vector H. Then I have to calculate vector P. Second step, to find vector H. Ampere circuital law is contour integral C vector H dot dl is equal to current enclosed. This is the mathematical statement of Ampere circuital law. So this is nothing but integral. What is vector H? It is assumed to be in phi direction. So vector S is H phi into A phi cap dot. In a cylindrical coordinate system, what is dl1? dl1 is d rho. What is dl2? Rho into d phi. What is dl3? dz. So dl2, what is vector dl? dl phi into unit vector A phi cap. Current enclosed is I. A phi cap dot A phi cap is what? A phi cap dot A phi cap is 1. What is dl phi? dl phi is nothing but dl2. dl2 is what? Rho into, right? I'll just write here, note. dl phi is equal to dl2 is equal to rho into d phi with rho equal to A. With rho equal to A, because the radius of the wire is A. So it is A into d phi. So here phi varies from 0 to 2 pi. So A phi cap dot A phi cap is 1. H phi is uniform at all points on the contour. Therefore H phi can be taken outside the contour integral. H phi integration with respect to phi from 0 to 2 pi. Correct? A phi cap dot A phi cap is 1. This is A into d phi is equal to I. This implies H phi into 2 pi A is equal to I. This in turn implies H phi is equal to I divided by 2 pi A. This implies vector H is equal to I divided by 2 pi A into A phi cap. Unit is amperes per meter. So I'll write down the answer here. Vector H is equal to I divided by 2 pi A into A phi cap. So many amperes per meter. Third step is to find vector P. Third step is to find vector P. To find vector P. The Poynting vector over the surface of the wire is the Poynting vector at the surface of the wire is at the surface of the wire is at the surface of the wire is vector P is equal to vector E cross vector H. What is vector E? I divided by pi a square sigma into Az cap cross. Vector H is what? I divided by 2 pi a into A phi cap. So I into I is I square divided by 2 times pi square A square sigma into Az cap cross A phi cap. Draw 3 orthogonal unit vectors. This is A rho cap, this is A phi cap, and this is Az cap. Az cap cross A phi cap means from Az to A phi you are traveling in the clockwise direction. Therefore, this cross product will give you a negative unit vector. So this is nothing but I square divided by 2 pi square a square sigma into minus a rho cap. Right? So this is nothing but minus I square divided by 2 pi square a square sigma into a rho cap. So many watts per meter square. Minus a rho cap implies that the pointing vector is directed inwards. The pointing vector is directed inwards is signified by this minus sign, a rho cap. So next what you have to do, we have to integrate this pointing vector over the cylindrical surface of the wire. Next step is the net power. Fourth step, the net power entering the volume, the net power entering the volume, the net power entering the volume enclosed by the cylindrical sides, of the wire is equal to minus. Why minus sign? Because entering. Power entering is negative, power leaving is positive. Closed surface integral vector P dot ds is equal to minus double integral. Correct? So what is vector P? Vector P is I square divided by 2 pi square a square sigma into a rho cap dot. What is vector ds? ds rho into a rho cap. ds rho is what? ds rho is dl2 into dl3. ds rho is dl2 into dl3. dl2 is rho d5, dl3 is dz. So this equals minus double integral I square divided by 2 pi square a square sigma. A rho cap dot a rho cap is 1. It is rho into d5 dz with rho equal to a. So here phi varies from 0 to 2 pi. Z varies from 0 to L. So if you put here rho equal to A, right, there is a minus sign over here also. Minus sign here also. Correct? So minus of minus it becomes plus I square by 2 pi square a square sigma. If you put rho equal to A, you get rho gets replaced by a, that a also you take out. d5 if you integrate you get 5 between 0 and 2 pi. dz if you integrate you get z from 0 to L. So this is nothing but I square divided by 2 pi square a sigma 2 pi into L. So this becomes I square divided by pi a into sigma into L. Where I think I've gone wrong. You can multiply, sorry. E cross h. See, when you do E cross h, a square into a will become a cube. In the previous step when I computed vector p, I think this is 2 pi square a cube. Please correct it. E cross h, when you take cross product of e and h, a square into a will give you a cube. Please correct it. So I have corrected it here. In the previous step also, please correct it. Okay. So this is a cube over here. This is a cube. So here you get a square. Right? A divided by a cube is 1 by a square. So this is nothing but I square into L divided by pi a square into sigma. This is nothing but I square into R. So many watts. Because what is resistance? Resistance is length divided by pi a square into conductivity. Nothing but the definition of resistance. In your PUC, you might have studied R is equal to rho into L by A. Reciprocal of rho is what? Reciprocal of rho is conductivity. So it is L divided by A into sigma. A is the area of cross section. Here we don't use, here rho stands for one of the coordinate of cylindrical system. Therefore we don't write resistivity as rho. Okay. Reciprocal of resistivity is conductivity. Reciprocal of resistivity is conductivity. I again repeat. In third step, we have found vector P is equal to E cross H. When you multiply E and H, correct, this A square into A will become A cube. If you have done a mistake, please correct it. Then cross product of AZ cap and A phi cap gives you minus A rho cap. Negative sign is taken here. Negative sign is taken here because power entering the volume is negative, power leaving the volume is positive. That is the convention. Even while teaching Gauss law, correct, flux leaving was treated as positive, flux entering was treated as negative. Please remember it. So many watts. So many watts. With this we finish this problem. Thank you. See, again I want to tell you one thing. In PUC you have written R is equal to rho into L by A. Here A is area of cross section of the wire. In the present problem, A is the radius of the wire. Therefore, don't confuse this A with this A. Please note that. That means resistance is directly proportional to length of the wire, inversely proportional to area of cross section. Rho is resistivity. Reciprocal of resistivity is conductivity, which is sigma. Correct? And here rho stands for resistivity, but here in a cylindrical system rho stands for one of the coordinates. So do not confuse with your PUC convention. In PUC, this is what we did. Simple formula is, don't write any relation. Resistance directly proportional to length of the wire, which is L. Inversely proportional to area of cross section of the wire, which is pi a square. 1 over sigma is resistivity. Therefore, the quantity inside the brackets is resistance. Correct? Thank you. Next problem. The electric and magnetic field vectors in free space are given by. Definitely these are connected to a plane wave. Vector E and vector H are related to a plane wave. Omega is equal to 400 pi 10 to the power 6 radians per second. Determine the direction of power flow and time average power crossing the surface bounded by y and z varying from 0 to 4 meters. Again repeat. The electric and magnetic field vectors in free space are given by vector E is equal to 100 cos omega t plus 2 pi by 3 into x into az cap. Vector H is equal to 100 by 377 cos omega t plus 2 pi by 3 into x ay cap amperes per meter, where omega is equal to 400 pi into 10 to the power 6 radians per second. Determine the direction of power flow and time average power crossing the surface bounded by y and z varying from 0 to 4 meters. Solution. Note. Since vector E and vector H are functions of x and t only, it implies plane wave is propagating in, so this plane wave, instead of writing plane wave, correct, are functions of x and t only. Correct. The plane wave is traveling. The plane wave is traveling in the negative x direction. The plane wave is traveling in the negative x direction. In the minus x direction. Since E and H are functions of x and t only, it implies plane wave is traveling in negative x direction. But okay, 1 minute. This statement I'll make later. Function x and t only, and omega t plus 2 pi by 3 into x remains constant. Remains constant because as t increases, x decreases. As t increases, x decreases. It implies we are given vector E and vector H for a backward traveling wave. This is better. For a backward traveling wave. Next is in phasor form, vector E is equal to what? 100 e to the power j 2 pi by 3 into x into az cap. Phasor form will have only space variation, it will not have time variation. If you multiply this phasor form by cos omega by e to the power j omega t and take real part, you will get this expression, volts per meter, and vector H is equal to 100 divided by 377 e to the power j 2 pi by 3 into x into ay cap amperes per meter. Hence, average Poynting vector is equal to half into real part of vector E cross vector H conjugate is equal to half into real part of what is vector E, 100 into e to the power j 2 pi by 3 into x into az cap cross. If you take conjugate of vector H, this plus j becomes minus j. 100 divided by 377 e to the power minus j 2 pi by 3 into x into ay cap. So az cap cross ay cap is minus ax cap. So you get half into 100 square divided by 377. If you multiply these two exponentials, if you multiply, get e to the power 0, which is 1. Az cap cross ay cap. Az cap cross ay cap is equal to what? Minus ax cap. So you get this as minus 13.26 into ax cap watts per meter square. So this is the average Poynting vector associated with a plane wave propagating in the negative x direction. Backward traveling wave is a wave traveling in the negative x direction. Next, I want to calculate what is average power entering the designated surface. The average power entering the designated surface. Entering means crossing the designated surface is equal to minus surface integral, correct? Surface integral vector p dot ds. What is vector p? Vector p is surface integral is a double integral. Vector p is minus 13.26 into ax cap dot. What is vector d? dsx into ax cap. What is dsx? dy into dz. Y varies from 0 to 4 given here. Z varies from 0 to 4. What is the unit of vector P average? What is the unit of vector P average? Unit of vector P average is watts per meter square. What is the unit of vector ds? Meter square. Watts per meter square into meter square gives you watts. So minus into minus plus, it becomes 13.26. dy if integrate you get y between 0 and 4. dz if integrate you get z limits 0 to 4. So 13.26 into 4 into 4. So 13.26 into 16, 212.16 watts. This is the average power crossing the designated surface. Thank you. Next problem. A 100 megahertz uniform plane wave is traveling in the positive z direction in a lossless dielectric medium having epsilon r equal to 9. A 20 volts per meter electric field is directed in the positive y direction. Find the average power leaving the surface x varying from minus 1 to 3 and y varying from minus 1 to 2 meters. These are in meters. Let me repeat once again. A 100 megahertz uniform plane wave is traveling in the plus z direction in a lossless dielectric medium having epsilon r equal to 9. A 20 volts per meter electric field is directed in the plus y direction. Find the average power leaving the surface, x varying from minus 1 to 3 meters and y varying from minus 1 to 2 meters. First step is, note that the medium is lossless medium. For a lossless medium, eta is equal to 377 into root of mu r divided by epsilon r is equal to 377 into mu r. Mu r is 1. If nothing is even, mu r is taken as 1. Epsilon r is 9. So 377 divided by 3 is equal to 125.67 ohms. What is average Poynting vector? What is average power density? Average power density equals P average is equal to Em plus whole square divided by 2 eta. Em plus is given as 20 in the problem. So it is 20 square divided by 2 into eta. Eta is 125.67. So equals 1.59 watts per meter square. Average power leaving the designated surface. Average power leaving the designated surface is equal to surface integral vector P average dot ds equals double integral. What is vector P average? 1.59 is the magnitude, traveling in which direction? Positive y direction. Therefore, unit vector is ay cap dot dsy into ay cap. What is dsy? dsy is dx into dz. dsy is dx into dz. Okay. So that means this is x variation. This has to be z variation. Please correct it. Z variation. Correct. So x varies from minus 1 to 3. Z varies from minus 1 to 2. Ay cap dot ay cap is 1. So this is 1.59. dx if integrate you get x between minus 1 and 3. dz if integrate you get z between minus 1 and 2. I have taken plus sign here because it is leaving the designated surface. So this is 1.59 into 4 into 3. 1.59 into 12 is equal to 19.08 watts. This is the answer. 19.08 watts. Okay, thank you. We go to next problem. For copper, sigma equals 58 megasiemens per meter. For Teflon, sigma equals 10 nanosiemens per meter and epsilon equals 2.1 epsilon naught. Verify that at 1 megahertz, copper is a good conductor and Teflon is a good insulator. Insulator means dielectric. So we proceed this problem in this manner. Solution. If for a good conductor, the concept is for a good conductor, sigma by omega epsilon is very much greater than 1. For a good dielectric, sigma divided by omega epsilon is very much less than 1. Now I will take copper. Sigma divided by omega epsilon is equal to, what is omega? 2 pi f. What is epsilon? Epsilon naught into epsilon r. For copper, what is sigma? 58 into 10 to the power 6. 2 pi f is what? F is 1 megahertz. So 1 into 10 to the power 6. Epsilon naught is what? 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12. Epsilon r is 1. So if you calculate this, epsilon for good copper, epsilon r is 2.1, sorry, because epsilon is epsilon naught into epsilon r is 2.1. So if you calculate this, you get this as 0.496 into 10 to the power 12, very much greater than 1, which implies copper is a good conductor. Next I take Teflon. Sigma divided by omega epsilon is equal to sigma divided by 2 pi f epsilon naught into epsilon. What is sigma for Teflon? 10 into 10 to the power minus 9 nanosiemens per meter. 2 pi f is what? 1 megahertz. Epsilon naught is 8.854. And what is epsilon r for Teflon? Epsilon r for Teflon is not given in the problem statement, therefore I take epsilon r is equal to 1. So 8.854 10 to the power minus 12, epsilon r is taken as 1. If you calculate this, you get 2.57 into 10 to the power minus 4, which is very much less than 1. This implies Teflon is a good insulator. Insulator means dielectric. It's a good dielectric. Thank you. Next problem. Show that for a uniform plane wave propagating a lossless medium, electric energy gets converted into magnetic energy and vice versa. Very, very important problem. Let us assume vector E and vector H are orthogonal to each other and to the direction of propagation. Instead of, let us assume, I'll write for a uniform plane wave. vector E and vector H are orthogonal to each other and the direction of propagation. Let us assume uniform plane wave is propagating in the x direction. Vector E is equal to Ey into Ay cap and vector H is equal to Hz into Az cap. Electric energy density is equal to half into vector D dot vector E is equal to half into epsilon into vector E dot vector E is equal to half into epsilon. Vector E is what? Ey into Ay cap dot. Vector E is Ey into Ay cap. Ay cap dot Ay cap is 1. So this becomes half into epsilon into Ey square. So many joules per meter cube. So I have computed electric energy density. I have written here for a uniform plane wave, vector E and vector H are orthogonal to each other and the direction of propagation. Let us assume uniform plane wave is propagating in the x direction. Vector E is equal to Ey into Ay cap and vector H is equal to Hz into Az cap. Electric energy density is equal to half into vector D dot vector E. Vector D is equal to epsilon into vector E. Magnetic energy density is equal to half into vector B dot vector H. This I derived in the next module. By correct now, vector E, I applied the principle of derivative. Vector D is replaced by vector B, vector E is replaced by vector H is equal to half into mu into vector H. Vector B is equal to mu into vector H. So it is half into mu. What is vector H? Hz into Az cap. So what is Az cap into Az cap? 1. So you get half into mu into Hz square. So many, this I call equation 1, this I call equation 2. So many joules per meter cube. For a lossless medium, eta is equal to Ey divided by Hz is equal to root of mu into epsilon. This implies Hz is equal to Ey into root of epsilon by mu. This in turn implies Hz square is equal to Ey into epsilon divided by mu. Equation 3. Substituting equation 3 in equation 2 gives magnetic energy density is equal to half into mu. Hz square is what? Epsilon into mu into Ey square. So this becomes half into epsilon into Ey square is equal to electric energy density. So we have shown that magnetic energy density gets transformed into electric energy density and vice versa. Hence the solution. The idea is we have shown that electric energy density equals magnetic energy density. Implication is electric energy density and electric energy gets converted into magnetic energy and vice versa. This is how this problem is tackled. Thank you.